Hello, this is Stuckfather. Everybody probably went to bed early, full with turkey and stuff like that. But anyway, on this one, I'll mention that this isn't financial advice and it's for entertainment purposes only. Even though you guys already know that, it's posted everywhere. But anyway, uh, that's because we're going to kind of go over an important thing, um, uh, which is knowing when to get into a play, how to kind of recognize you should, and when to get out. Okay, so and how do you get the notion to do that right? So here we are. I'm not doing that with AMC, but I'm going to show that first. Um, I drew this kind of up uh, because to me it was starting to look like some booksy cat ears. I see the little paw here. I see the first ear, the head's a little messed up, and then this other ear's coming on. That's what it looks like to me. I could be completely wrong. Beth has posted some stuff that Amazon's looking at spending a lot of money on cinemas coming up, and there's not that many cinemas to spend money on. But it really depends on if they're going to be spending it as a competitor to AMC or if they're going to be investing in AMC. So anyway, that could be pretty big news and change this entire scenario. Um, right now, when I look at the volume, I see that they've took it down to buy some more. This is like a buy move to me. This does not look like a sell-off, even though you do get a big spark of volume. It's right around a crucial point where it might scare people, so they can pick up a lot more volume. Then it looked like they were going to take off here, but they decided to take it down to see if they could pick up any more. And it's kind of small volume down here, and then they take it up and they drop it again, and yeah, looks like that's what they did. Now in my white coffee and draw up here, the biggest issue I have with this is not being like an SOS or anything. It says doesn't show very much strength. It breaks through both of my resistance lines, but then it comes back into the channel, and I very rarely find that works out to the upside. Just an FYI, that's just for my thing. But I mean, like I was saying, there's some underlying circumstances that could change the trajectory, but that's just the way I see it right now. And I think they picked up a little bit more on Thursday, so I haven't seen any selling off yet. So I have to believe they're going to bring it up higher before they start selling off. So if you see it kind of stay up high or have it's a little higher, it starts volume starts really spiking in the next couple of days, by Monday, Tuesday. Um, yeah, you probably know it's coming down. Okay. Um, but oh yeah, Spy. So Spy's been having a good run, which could be impacting everything else. Today it's kind of flat, but I expect a little bit more pull up. I have this channel drawn up based on some guys I follow. If you look at the Moxie, it's still strong, but it's coming down a little bit. And they were thinking that we would come down and test the bottom of this channel. And that seems sensible to me. Today's like it's done by 1 p.m. I don't think that they would do it today. But they could do it pre-market Monday. That's what I'm kind of thinking. I still think we'll get over 404 before it comes down. I don't know. But this also looks like books and cat ears to me in a weird way. But those, those catch, right? Like we have this as an example here where it went to the bottom of, just dropped off to the bottom of the range, then went up to the middle of the range, dropped, So, I mean, this would not be, um, unlike them to do. But today I'm going to be looking out for huge volume spikes also at the top here. And I'm going to get out of what I'm holding. Okay. So you say, well, okay. So you're looking for big volume spikes to get out. You're going to be looking really closely, especially if it goes over 404. And sell-off volume, it's really hard to catch the difference, right? You just see high volume. If you don't have a trained eye, it's hard to tell if it's selling off or not, or if it's just making a retrace volume, or what it's doing. So in that case, if you're not good at doing that, just keep changing your stop loss. Depending on whether or not you got puts or calls, or in this because it's going to go up a little bit more, I believe, this morning. Whether you have calls or the triple the index, I think it was called SPL. I don't know. You have to look at Clearly Thinking's thing to find those. And then you could switch over to the downside where you get in to the downside, but and take some profits on coming down. But I think it's going to be very short lived. My thought is if they do it on like overnight, they'll hit a lot of stop losses, and that people would set. So if you drop it, especially if they drop it $12, because we get a row, then so I'm thinking like right now they can drop it down to 92, so that's like $10. So 404 and higher is probably like a natural thing, actually, that to see. So, and we might start coming down a little bit today, kind of like this one gradually went up and then gradually came down, and then by one stop, and then it just drops aftermarket. Right now, everybody that has stop losses in here on Monday morning, they'll all of a sudden get called and get a spike of volume, because what's going on here is it's moving up on low volume, and last time it did that was over here, and then it just totally caved, right? So what I'm going to be watching for is it dropping and then a lot of volume coming in, right? Because people are scared heavily on SPY right now. They don't trust that it's actually going to make a new high up here. But just like my count gets us over this, so do some experts that I watch. They have us come into 435. I had 430, so show you how bad my count is, but my counting is. But it would be by, looks like, if it stays in this channel, by the end of the year. So this is my thoughts on it. So I plan to get out somewhere around, let's say it happen, we go over anywhere over 404. I'm going to be hitting stop losses and being prepared to get out at anything that's going to drop at all, anything significant. As soon as we go over 404, I'm like ready to get out. So I'm going to get out somewhere up here. I get out. I'm going to watch how it works. Um, if we keep going up, I'm going to, stake to my conviction that it's going to come down. And then I think Monday morning it's going to come down to the line and test. So then I'm going to be looking for high volume, very high volume, right? So I'm going to be buying December 30th, 430s. And to me, that's the most bang for the buck that you can get in the year. And it's the cheapest. Now, you might only be able to afford one or none. You can always get into the triple thing if you wanted to make some extra money. Get out around Christmas and be nice and happy. But so then I kind of expect we'll climb back up this ladder, and that'll be our last low part until we get to the top. But at the same time, I'm going to maintain my stop loss, and the way I'm going to do that from down here is I'm going to set it to where if it ever drops below whatever my entry amount of money is, to sell it. Like, I don't care what else it does. It's like I prefer not to lose anything. Now, can you still lose something on that? Yes. Like I said, they can drop it overnight, and when you wake up in the morning, it'll be sold, and you'll have lost out on that. That can't really be helped. And it could be something that you could get right back into if that happened, because it might just be another grab at stuff. Now, so far, anything over 430, I know, like I just said, it could go to 435, but anything over, 430, it's like I'm selling. As soon as it goes over this line, I'm getting out. And it could be, it could keep just going up or whatever. But the amount of money that you would make for the spot in making out, let's say at 390, let's see, 392, buying 430s for the end of the year, the amount of money that you would make, you would not care one bit whether that it just went one penny above it. Even though like you would make more, and maybe some people would get greedy, and I don't know. I've yet to be able to handle myself on the. It's one of my weaknesses. Everybody's got a kryptonite, but mine's like I never ease my way out. I just jump completely out or jump completely in. I don't know if it's my um, that used to having a account that I don't have to worry about day trades or uh, what it is that makes me do that. I just have this like quick impulse to jump in, just to do it all and not get out in segments. But we'll see. I don't know. Got plenty of time to think about it while it's going up. And then by this time, this is so funny because right now, everybody's pessimistic. By the time it gets up here, though, this is where I think it's going to get interesting. By the end of the year, I think it seems to be the channel it's in. It would hit by the end of the year. That it's going to plummet some back into the range, like pretty big plummet, right? But it's just part of this accumulation, right? And the funny thing that I'm thinking in my mind is when it gets up here and does that, and comes down, by the time we're up here, the sentiment is going to change from bearish to bullish. Everybody's going to be like, yes, this thing's going all the way back up to where we were in January, right? And it's going to bring it down some. You got to get in the mind of the composite operator, right? The person controlling the stock. How do they make money, right? They make money by tricking people into selling off. Whether it's if you watch the stock all day, and look, we're almost up to 404 already, so we might start the day there. So I'm gonna be very quick on the my watch list thing on this. But okay, so and it could come to the top of the range. I very well doubt it. I don't think it's going to make it all the way up there to come down. I think all we need to do is come over somewhere between 404 and 408, and then I can pull back down here. So back to what I was saying, understand the composite operator. If you watch the stock as it's going up, especially around round numbers, they will go up like 30 or 40 cents above a round number. Let's say 403. They'll go up above it, and then they'll just drop it really hard, and they'll drop it below 403. Like they'll go to 402.85 or something like that, and you'll see a big volume spike, and that's because people set stop losses at even numbers. It's just it's a human thing. Like if you go to set a stop loss, you don't like type in like doing a stop loss at $403.06. You just don't. You just don't do that unless that's your entry and you do what I'm saying after it comes down for this like last retest. It may retest the top. Let's go look at the top of the last move. It's this here. Had tested it once. I think in my last video I said it possibly could test it twice. It's starting to kind of make sense. So I'm going to put a little arrow there to be really watching that area for support. It's this one here. And this goes back in time for quite a ways too. There's a lot of things in this area that kind of tell you this is a major area, right? You get these things in the past. But anyway, so it's deflected the tops. It's been used as support. But anyway, I'm not that big on that other than I don't want to see it fall through that and not have a high volume and it's looking bad. So on this, after this thing drops, it's going to be a very big cautionary thing, right? We're gonna want to be very cautious. It could, it's a half a day today, but it feels like it could make it down there pretty fast. Just looking at the channel. Okay, well, anyway, it should be interesting. Although I think no, we got more days in this month, right? 28, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Monday be 28. Yeah, okay. Too early. I haven't had my coffee yet either. Anyway, so that's kind of like what I'm seeing on like the meat of this. And this could end up being a really good call out for people, and be like, that was a great tip. Now I'm gonna go to the tip area and leave you a tip. anyway, I do like that Booksy's also seeing some type of Bukowski thing. Diamond Bonhams on the SPY. So I don't know what his count is on that. He should post it in the Bukowski part so I can filter through a little bit easier. Yeah, so look, we've already this other test. So yeah, I kind of see it's kind of coming up, and then since it's a short day, I think that's when they'll. I think they got a plan to take the breath out of it, to feed those fears that people are having. Uh, and yeah, I don't think it's coming back down. I would just hold what I had, but I think it's going to come close to my entry point. And so therefore, I was looking at like, well, if you think it's going to 430, why don't you get 430s for the end of the year? And they'll be so cheap. And if you hit it anywhere at like December 20th or December 10th or anything like that, it'll be insurmountable. So, well, how would you know? Like, how much would you make off that? There is a um, site called optionscalculator.com. Helps you kind of figure out stuff like that. Not that they're paying me for advertising or anything. It's actually a pretty bland site, but it's very helpful. I would definitely and you don't have to do options on it. So there's a great thing you can do the times three, um, and if the market stays going up, you're dandy. Uh, I'm trying to imagine how much you would make off that the times three thing. It seems like it's like around $30 for every 10. So that's per contract. So the contracts caught. I think they're in the hundreds now. I think it's in the hundred, but by the time it breaks down to here, it might be down to the 80s again. I can't remember. I barely look at it now. But anyway, clearly think he knows more about that. He's in our TA thing. He just had a baby though, so he might not answer very quickly. But um, both him and I and Booksy and other people, if you send us messages, we will answer them. I don't think there's anybody in the Discord that won't answer your questions. And I stay in the voice chat all day, as expecting somebody to come in and ask me questions, and usually nobody does. Sometimes clearly thinking and I just sit in there all day by ourselves, and which is fine, um, you know. But what I was saying to some people is, you could just pull up thing and listen to it like a radio. And if it's something you don't want to hear, you can always just jump out. I've had so many times where um, somebody comes in to hear what we're talking about, they're not interested, they just leave. Nothing wrong with that, you know. But it's there for you guys. And the thing is, if you're not learning a little bit of something, then you're not really taking advantage of this free scenario thing we got going on. And maybe it's just that you're picking up everything from Booksy and, you're totally fine with that and watching AMC because you're just holding off to see after that happens. And I totally understand. I totally relate. I've totally been there, and I know what you're thinking, and it's totally okay. Uh, as long as you're picking up something, you're learning something. Uh, these are the things that are important because, like, I'm constantly learning, and I've been doing it forever. So you always pick up something new. And if you don't, then you're doing yourself a disservice. If you just, if you don't practice, you don't get good, right? You're not going to become the best pitcher on the baseball team if you're just watching baseball on TV. Does that make sense? If you're not participating in baseball, you're just observing it and not practicing it. You're not really going to become a great player, right? No one absorbs information and then like doesn't practice it and just like I could do that. I could dunk a basketball. I don't know why I'm doing a sports analogy. I don't even watch sports, but anyway, I rambled too much. because I haven't had my coffee, and I could smell it at this point, so it's driving me nuts. So I'm going to go get some coffee, start the day, and catch you all on the flip side. Have a good one.